What's up, class, and welcome to the official selection video for the Skooled Zone's Fallout 76 Base Camp contest. Before we look over the finalist videos, I just want to take a moment and tell you how impressed I was with all your entries. In many ways, Fallout 76 has a much more limited and challenging building system than Fallout 4, and even more so now that they've been systematically patching all the helpful building glitches. I can imagine it must have also been frustrating for a lot of contestants who didn't have all the building plans they wanted or didn't get a shot at some of the limited time atomic shop items. So I just want to say thanks for putting in all the work you did. And while there can only be 5 finalists, that doesn't mean your efforts didn't go unnoticed. You know, some people got very upset that they didn't get into the final 5 last time. I understand that's the risk I take running these kind of contests, but hopefully more good comes out of it than bad. You know, the goal here is to create a greater sense of community and give you guys an outlet to share ideas and show off your creativity. Now, after the extension deadline, there ended up being about 25 total entries. That's about maybe like a quarter as many as the Fallout 4 contest I ran last year. But it makes total sense when you compare the popularity of Fallout 4 versus Fallout 76. Nevertheless, it was so cool having people from all walks of life entering the contest. You know, contestants range from teenagers all the way to retirees. I heard German accents, Spanish accents, Russian accents, Australian accents. You know, that's the kind of global community that excites me most about video games. I mean, imagine world peace someday through co-op gaming. I mean, you never know. Now, if you watch my previous contestant finalist video, I talked a lot about the judging process. I used a very similar process with this contest, so you can go back and watch that video. I won't go over all that again here. The first elimination round involved whether the entry followed the rules or not. Unfortunately, a sizable swath of videos lost because of that. I don't know, maybe the contestants just didn't fully watch my rules video. But just like any other official contest, online or in real life, it's not fair to the people who did follow the rules to make exceptions. Now, one of the main differences between Fallout 4's building system and the Fallout 76 building system is the size limit budget, especially when you can use the size limit glitch in Fallout 4 but not Fallout 76. That's one of the main reasons I allowed up to 5 different builds in the camp contest. One small build wasn't enough to really show off your talent, you know. Some people went the full 5 settlements route. You know, that extra work did factor into the decision, but attention to detail and creativity were still the main factors. So an entry with say only 2 builds but a lot of attention to detail in each could have edged ahead with quality over quantity. So what I'm going to do is showcase a few highlights from each finalist entry, and then you guys can decide the order of the winners from 5th to 1st place using the iCard poll in the upper right hand corner. Actually, you only get to vote on who you think should win 1st place. Obviously, the entry with the most votes will win 1st place, but what I'll do is I'll rank 2nd through 5th place winners on the remaining vote tallies. Now, I'll show them off in a moment in order from 2 builds to 5 builds, but again, you want to base your vote on who you think showed the most creative talent, especially given the restrictions of the Fallout 76 building system. The links to their full videos are in the description below, so check out their videos and then come back to this video to cast your vote in the iCard above. Okay, you guys ready? We'll start off the bunch with an entry by Joshua, who goes by Sian Ninja. His entry included 2 builds. He had a really neat theme with his first build because he found a bunch of parked cars and decided to build a gas station around it. He traded the gas pumps for vending machines. He goes on to show off an additional building he constructed as his player home on the premises. And in his second build, his theme was a sort of industrial river dock or boathouse. Really cool how he built that over the water, and it made it look like a real location you might find in the game. The next entry comes to us from Grace, who goes by the channel name Blonde Empire. She also featured 2 builds. I really like the attention to detail in her builds. Everything from like the riddle to open the keypad door to the sign she used to identify the shops. She also made really good use of pipe conduits, which many people don't bother with, and you know, they just have wires flying around everywhere. She also took on 2 very difficult locations to build, the bog for her first build and the mire for her second build. Really good use of the environment there too. And she even added a little humor to the video with some jokes and editing tricks, so it was fun to watch all the way through. The next entry comes to us from Ezekiel, who spells it like this. He entered 3 builds. The first is a sort of underground bunker. As you'll see if you watch the video, he used some very clever layout tricks to achieve some cool things and made good use of the environment as well. For his second build, his theme was a sort of irradiated military base. Again, interesting use of the environment and layout. It's not just like a box like many of the builds I saw, but it's sort of a maze-like formation, you know, perhaps to confuse intruders. And his last build was more of a player home, but it's built on the side of a cliff with multiple levels. He also did a good job of decorating to make it look lived in. The next entry comes to us from Ethan, who goes by Skittle. He submitted 3 builds as well. His first build was actually built into an existing structure, which is always cool to do. And he put a lot of time into decorating it with things like, the chicken hanging above the stove and the egg in the pot. Sort of has a Raider saloon vibe to it, And it was all built on a slant, which is always challenging. His second build was more of a Raider fortress with a definite haphazard feel. I've never been really good at decorating things with a Raider theme, so it's always cool to see people put in lots of decoration and detail. I always wonder where their mind's at with that. It was definitely a lot of fun to wander through, at least visually speaking. And his last build had an interesting locomotive train theme to it. Definitely looks like a train from a distance, very creative. And he has a train station as well as train cars, each with their lived-in style. And lastly, we have an entry by Jeremy, who goes by Master J Dog 6. I think I said that right. Somehow he managed to squeeze in 5 builds into 11 minutes, so kudos with that. He had an interesting theme too. Each of his builds was like a progression from when you first come out of the vault to when you're finally like a seasoned veteran. So his first build is like a tent campgrounds, for like everybody to come enjoy. It's fashioned to feature a lot of open sky. In his second build, you can see it's a little more fortified, but it's still not a full-fledged fortress or town yet. His third build is more of a community house, less makeshift than the others and more finely decorated. And his fourth build was a hunting lodge, a lot more sophisticated than the last build and definitely decorated with that theme in mind. And the fifth build progresses to an actual small town. It's protected by walls, but then there are separate houses for each of the townsfolk. So very creatively done. Alright guys, those are the finalists. Some good stuff. It's going to be tough to decide, but your job now is to vote for the first place winner in the iCard above. So go give each entry a full watch on their channels before you decide. And for those who placed, feel free to vote on your own entry, of course, and you're also welcome to invite friends and family and people in your social circles to come vote as well. Also, please only positive comments about the entries down below. No need to trash anyone's build if you like someone else's or say who you're voting for specifically. We have a great community down below in the After School Club, so I doubt there'll be any comments for me to delete, but I had to mention it anyway. You guys will have a little less than 2 weeks to get your votes in, which should be plenty of time. I'll tally the votes at the end of the month and post a short follow-up video a couple days later announcing the winners. Again, a big thanks to everyone who put in the time and effort to submit an entry. It was so much fun checking out all the talent, just all around amazingness, and I wish everybody could win, but I'm excited to see how the votes shape up. So, thanks for watching, throw a like on the video and subscribe to stay updated, and I'll see you soon with another Fallout 4 video in the meantime. Peace out!